Here are today's top stories. Malacanang welcomes the Philippines' new role as a country coordinator for ASEAN-China relations. The Sandiganbayan allows former First Lady Imelda to post bail as she challenges her graft conviction. A business group asks the government to reconsider the closure of El Nido and Coron, Palawan for rehabilitation. And sports coaches from all over the country undergo grassroots level coaching training.
Good day, I'm Pia Rosas Murato. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. The Philippines has been selected as a new country coordinator for the ASEAN-China dialogue relations. Malacanang says it is determined to strengthen the partnership between ASEAN members and China. Here's a report.
Malacanang welcomes the formal announcement of Singapore Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong on the designation of the Philippines as the new country coordinator for the ASEAN-China dialogue relations. Prime Minister Lee made the announcement during his opening remarks at the 21st ASEAN-China Summit. The Philippines will assume the role as country coordinator until year 2021. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo says Lee had expressed confidence in the Philippines' ability to continue bringing ASEAN relations with China to greater heights. He said President Rodrigo Duterte's handling of the foreign policies will help the country fulfill its role in strengthening the partnership between ASEAN and China. In his speech during the 33rd ASEAN Summit Working Dinner last Tuesday, Duterte said the Philippines is prepared to do its part as country coordinator. Duterte has pushed for the early conclusion of an effective code of conduct which seeks to govern activities and ensure peace and stability in the disputed territory.
You know, I'm the country coordinator for ASEAN-China. I will try my best. I made a very strong statement yesterday about the urgent need for a COC so that everybody will know. Because when you claim an ocean, the whole of it, then that is a new development in today's world. So in a sense, it would also change, radical changes in the laws governing international waters, particularly the right of free passage or the right of innocent passage. And all of these things, China is there.
For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is set to make a two-day state visit to the Philippines on November 20 to 21 this year. During the state visit, Duterte and Xi will exchange views on areas of mutual concern and chart the course for the future of Philippines-China bilateral relations. Philippines and China signed 14 deals on infrastructure, climate change, defense cooperation, drug rehabilitation centers, and Marawi rehabilitation. The relations between the Philippines and China achieved a positive turnaround after President Duterte's first state visit to China in October 2016. Xi describes Duterte's first visit to Beijing as a milestone that mended the two countries' ties amid a territorial dispute over the West Philippine Sea. President Duterte downplayed the maritime dispute to allow a peaceful and friendly settlement with China. President Rodrigo Duterte renews a franchise of Manila Broadcasting Company and two other firms. President Duterte has given MBC another 25 years to construct, install, operate, and maintain radio and television broadcasting stations within the country. MBC operates the country's oldest radio station, DZRH, and Love Radio, its radio and FM flagship stations. The President also extended for another 25 years the franchises of Bright Star Broadcasting Network Corporation and Vanguard Radio Network Company Incorporated. Bright Star operates FM station 105.9. Meanwhile, Vanguard owns broadcast stations including FM 95.9 in Nueva Ecija, Baguio, La Union, Nueva Vizcaya, Isabela, Cagayan, and Bohol. Over 41,000 public utility vehicle operators have availed of the new fare matrix from the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board. Majority of those who availed of the new matrix are jeepneys in Metro Manila. The LTFRB will continue issuing the new matrix for public utility buses and jeepneys in Metro Manila and Regions 3 and 4. The LTFRB reminds drivers and operators not to charge the new fares without a fare matrix displayed inside their vehicles. Local absentee voters are given 3 days to vote in next year's elections. And UP Diliman condemns a recent spat between fraternities. More on these and other news around the metro from Miguel Hill.
Local absentee voters will have 3 days to cast their votes in the midterm elections. The local absentee voting period will be from April 29, 30, and May 1, 2019 for government employees, members of the military and police, and media practitioners who are expected to be on duty on Election Day, May 13. Absentee voters need to fill up application forms and must be filed not later than March 11, 2019. UP Diliman condemns the violence that erupted between warring fraternities Upsilon Sigma Phi and Alpha Phi Beta. Chancellor Michael Tan says the incidents are currently under investigation and charges will be filed against those to be found criminally liable. The penalties for violence includes expulsion from the university. Meanwhile, Senator Panfilo Lacson supported PNP Chief Oscar Albayalde in calling out the negative portrayal of top police officers in the TV series Ang Probinsyano. He says the show is unrealistic and unfair. The former PNP chief says that while there are some bad eggs in the PNP, it would be unfair to portray to millions of viewers that the whole police force is rotten. However, Senator Grace Poe echoed ABS-CBN's statement that the setting is fictional. She claims that people view the police based on their actions on the streets. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
Still to come, the Sandiganbayan allows former First Lady Imelda Marcos to post bail as she challenges her graft conviction. A business group asks the government to reconsider the closure of El Nido and Coron, Palawan for rehabilitation. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
This 2018, over 1,000 delegates and observers from the East Asian region will come together in the Philippines to step up their efforts in pursuit of sustainability. Since 2003, the ES Congress has been contributing towards addressing global issues such as climate change adaptation, biodiversity conservation, pollution reduction and waste management, water use conservation and management, alternative livelihood, and food security, which has greatly benefited the local communities across the region. This year, the event will once again provide a dynamic platform for knowledge sharing, collaborative action, partnership building, and a forum to advance commitment and cooperation in achieving the shared vision of sustainable development on clean water and sanitation, sustainable cities and communities, climate action, and life below water. We have accomplished many meaningful achievements over the year, but there is a lot more to do. Each of us can make a contribution towards having more sustainable oceans and coasts. Together, let us move as one with the Global Ocean Agenda. The East Asian Seas Congress 2018. 25 years of partnership in promoting healthy oceans, people, and economies. Moving as one with the Global Ocean Agenda. Delegates, participants, guests, welcome to Iloilo City, Philippines.
The Sandiganbayan allows former First Lady Imelda Marcos to post bail again over her multiple graft case. Marcos posted bail worth 150,000 pesos while the court decides whether to grant her motion for leave. She was ordered to stay inside the premises of the Sandiganbayan 5th Division's courtroom in the meantime. The former First Lady says she was unable to attend the promulgation of her cases last November 9 due to health reasons. Marcos was found guilty for 7 counts of graft in connection to her involvement with several foundations while serving as a public official during the Marcos regime. The government is eyeing the closure and rehabilitation of El Nido and Coron in Palawan, but the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry is asking concerned agencies to reconsider. More on this from Miguel Hill.
The Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry urges the government to take a long, hard look at the proposed closure of El Nido and Coron in Palawan to tourists. The PCCI said the national government should hold a dialogue with key stakeholders to discuss rehabilitation plans before considering the closure of the 2 major tourist destinations in Palawan. It says those involved must take note of how such a move would impact local enterprises as well as employment. The business group also backs the statement of Tourism Secretary Bernadette Romulo Puyat that there should be no complete shutdown of El Nido and Coron. Instead, establishments that have violated environmental laws should be heavily fined. Meanwhile, the PCCI urges concerned local government units to be more proactive in identifying and cleaning up their respective illegal waste disposal and sewerage issues. 22 establishments in El Nido were closed down as part of rehabilitation efforts by the local government. In 2017, tourist arrivals in El Nido alone reached 200,000 and are expected to be higher this year with the 6-month closure of Boracay. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
The BSP Monetary Board adjusted its average inflation forecast for 2018 to 2020. The forecasts that you see on the screen are based on recent economic developments here and abroad. The downward trend is attributed to the recently approved rice tariffication bill and the announced suspension of the second phase of oil excise tax for 2019. The rice tariffication bill aims to address a surge in the prices of rice in the early part of 2018. The suspension of the second oil excise tax hike for next year is also part of the downside risks of inflation alongside rice, but is now also a part of the baseline forecast. The United States Agency International Development and Mindanao Development Authority turned over a solar power project to Marawi City. Over 200 solar streetlights have been installed in Barangay Sagunsongan and 27 solar lamp posts installed in Barangay Poblacion. MINDA and USAID have also turned over the completion of the solar roofing of 4 barangay health centers in Sugod, Olo-Ombolong, Tuca, and Basak Malutlut. The project includes those completed for Sarimanok evacuation sites 1 and 2 and in the Sagunsongan temporary relocation site. This is part of the 11.7 billion peso solar power project called Building Low Emissions Alternatives to develop economics, resilience, and sustainability, or B leaders. Government stakeholders sign a partnership to boost ecotourism in Rizal Province. And shanties are torn down in no-build zones in Itugon, Benguet. More on these stories from the provinces from Mercor Zapata.
In Rizal, the province partners with the DOST and the University of Rizal Systems Antipolo campus to boost its ecotourism. They signed an agreement on the use of a micro hydropower system as an alternative energy source in Hinulugang Taktak waterfalls. They also expressed support for the production of technology-driven products and materials for the micro, small, and medium enterprises. In Negros Occidental, more than 400 residents of 4 remote villages in Himamaylan City availed of health and other government services during the multi-service peace caravan. The project intends to bring basic services right at the doorsteps of Negrenses living in far-flung areas. In Benguet, a demolition task force torn down 102 shanties on no-build zones in Itogon. Around 700 shanties are still due for demolition to prevent people from returning and continuing to reside in these danger areas. The Mines and Geosciences Bureau identified parts of Barangay Luwakan, Ukap, Ampukaw, and Gumatdang as highly susceptible to landslides. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
Up next, sports coaches from all over the country undergo grassroots level coaching training. Catarman invites a tourist to experience life in the town with its pedicab tours. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
Ang product ng bigas ay ganito. Kung magkano ang bili mo ng palay, times 2 is the price of rice. So kung ang bili ng ating mga traders ng palay is 18 pesos per kilo, dapat 36 lang. Kapag tumaas pa dyan, somebody is making money at the expense. Kapag hindi tayo nagtulungan, yung mga magsasakang Pilipino, masasagasaan ng imported rice. Gusto man natin na magkaroon ng murang bigas sa palengke, we also would have to look at the state of agriculture. Ang sabi lang ng Pangulong, punuin mo ng bigas ang merkado. Yun ang utos ng Pangulo. Sa kapag sinabi mong unimpeded importation, papatayin na yung magsasakang Pilipino.
The Philippine Sports Commission and the Philippine Sports Institute held a 5-day coaching seminar at the Davao del Norte Sports and Tourism Complex. PC Chairman Butch Ramirez says coaches' education is vital in upgrading the standards and raising the level of efficiency of coaches and competitiveness of athletes. The Grassroots Coaching Certification Program is a multi-level course for elementary, secondary, and tertiary coaches. Lecturers of the theoretical courses are experts in sports science and related fields, while the sports-specific training will be conducted by national coaches. Davao del Norte is hosting the pilot run of the program with 70 elementary and high school coaches from public and private schools. About 56 people have been reportedly killed, while 130 others were injured as deadly wildfires continue to rage in California. 47 have been tentatively identified, while over 200 people are unaccounted for. Over 400 search and rescue personnel are conducting search and rescue operations. California has been struggling with several huge fires, which have already destroyed over 8,000 structures since last week. Residents blame the fires on a local power supply company due to its alleged failure to properly maintain power lines. Did you know that you can experience life in Catarman by traveling via pedicab? Catarman Northern Samar is taking an interactive approach to let tourists know more about this capital town. More on this from Maricor Zapata.
Tourism stakeholders in Catarman, Northern Samar are upbeat about bringing more guests in this capital town with the promotion of its very own pedicab tour. Under this concept, tourists will ride a pedicab around the town center for sightseeing and immersion with the community. They will also have a chance to observe how locals produce their special delicacies like pinangat and piñato. Other activities include watching athletes play sepak takraw, the country's national game, which is commonly played in this town. They will also be ferried to Buko Island, where they can witness how men make copra, one of the islanders' premier products. A farm tour also highlights the experience, as guests can ride a carabao and experience the locals' way of life in the vast rice fields. Also part of the tour is a budol fight at Rancho Gloria, which is owned by the family of famous celebrity costume player Aloja Gosheng Fiao. They also get to stay in cozy yet affordable hotels. If the pedicab tour will succeed, about 1,000 drivers stand to benefit from the project. by providing them alternative income via tourism. Aside from touring around the town of Catarman, the pedicab tour will also connect with a tour to the famous Biri Island and with the Mamanwat tribe in Las Navas. These tribesmen are trained and assisted by government agencies in making handicraft out of rattan. Catarman town can be reached through regular flights from Clark. The town is a 5-hour drive from Tacloban City through a 238-kilometer highway. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Maricor Zapata.
Pag-asa is monitoring a low-pressure area that may develop into a typhoon this weekend. The Weather Bureau says the potential tropical depression spotted east of Mindanao will be named Samuel once it enters the Philippine area of responsibility. Another low-pressure area was also monitored west of Puerto Princesa City in Palawan. The LPA is unlikely to intensify into a storm, but it brings cloudy skies with scattered rains and thunderstorms in Palawan and western Visayas. Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's top stories.
Malacanang welcomes the Philippines' new role as a country coordinator for ASEAN-China relations. The Sandiganbayan allows former First Lady Imelda Marcos to post bail as she challenges her graft conviction. A business group asks the government to reconsider the closure of El Nido and Coron, Palawan for rehabilitation. And sports coaches from all over the country undergo grassroots level coaching training.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And it's 38 days to go before Christmas. That's your daily dose of the latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Pia Rosas Moroto. Good day.